Hello friends, are you confused with too many options in mutual fund? Or do you want to know which scheme is suitable for you? How do the schemes differ in terms of risk they carry? Or what is the ROI, that is return, we can expect from a particular category of fund? If any of those above answers are yes, please watch this video till the end to have a fair idea about what are the different types of mutual fund from the most practical point of view. Welcome to our channel Wealth Affairs. Kindly subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon so that you are always updated about all the videos that we share for your enrichment. What is return? Most of us already know what is return, but still return is nothing but the appreciation of investment amount over a period of time. Now we can take return at the end of the investment horizon, or we can take periodic return as well. But net whatever we get additional, right? So if we are investing X and we are getting X plus something, so that something is our return. We all understand what is return, and that is why we invest. But even more important than return is the concept of risk. What is risk? Risk is nothing but possible negative diversion from expected outcome. Now, what is expected outcome? Most of us, whenever we are investing for certain expectations, right? To get certain return. Now, whenever we are getting more than that, that is positive diversion. So, if we are expecting X, and we are getting X plus something, that is positive diversion. But if you are getting X minus something, that is called negative diversion, and that is called a risk. So where the probability of getting lesser return is more, that is called to be more risky, right? Now this is very important to understand the concept of different mutual funds. Now we'll see what are the different types of mutual fund from these two angles. So on the vertical axis, we are checking what is the kind of return we can get from a fund, and on the horizontal axis, we are seeing what is the risk those funds are carrying, right? So mutual funds can be segregated with different parameters in terms of composition and so many other things. But this is probably the most practical way of segregating mutual funds, the way it is impacting us, right? The point of view of return and the amount of risk the fund carries. So any fund which is lying at around this kind of a position, right, there will be lower on the risk and lower will be the return. And any fund which is at the higher side, which is top right corner, would be having very high potential of generating return. At the same time, the risk quotient of those funds will also be higher. Now let us see what are the approximate kind of a segregation we can have in mutual fund from these two angles. The first category we can say as a debt category, right? Here we are not investing any rupee in the equity market. All these investments are happening treasury bills, money market instruments, corporate debentures, government securities and all such things. But even in debt, there are different kinds of funds in terms of the risk and the return potential of those funds, right? Then comes the hybrid category. So hybrid means some portion is into debt and some portion is into equity. It's a mix basically. And the last category is equity, right? So even in equity, there are different types of equity funds. In hybrid, there are different types of hybrid funds. So we'll check all these different category and what are their basic features. First, to start with debt funds, the first category of funds which is considered to be having the lowest amount of risk is called the liquid or overnight funds. So here I have mentioned something called average maturity. Now what is this? Average maturity is nothing but the instruments where the fund manager is investing and what are the kind of maturity those instruments are having. So when you are giving money to a debt fund manager, a debt fund basically, right, that fund manager is investing into different kind of debt instruments. Now all those debt instruments are having less than 90 days of maturity, right? Their interest rate sensitivity is very low, right? So even if interest rate is going up and down in the market, they are not having very high sensitivity, so they are very consistent, and the return expectation is also very low. So generally for very short term requirement, maybe for a month or 2 or 3, right? So we can go ahead with the liquid kind of a fund. So for your emergency money or any money which you want to park for very short tenure of time, you can look at liquid or overnight kind of a fund. The next category we can look at is called the ultra short or the low duration category. Now here the average maturity is little higher, that is the fund manager is investing for little longer duration of period. So here the instruments remains almost the same, but their maturity, their average maturity is little longer. The interest rate sensitivity obviously it's higher than the liquid funds, but still it is low compared to the other category of debt funds. The return expectation is also very low, but obviously it would be little higher from the liquid or overnight funds. So as we are increasing the amount of maturity, average maturity of the instruments, we are also expecting little higher return over liquid or overnight funds. Now generally again, when you are having a year kind of a time or maybe more than 6 months kind of a time, you can look into this kind of funds. But yes, all this average maturity also depends on the yield curve and different point in time how the interest rate scenario is there in the market on different tenure. But this is a very generic idea of understanding debt fund of different tenure. The next we are moving to short term accrual funds. Here the average maturity is generally 2 to 4 years, that is the fund manager is investing into debt instruments or the debt papers where the maturity is around 2 to 4 years time. The interest rate sensitivity is moderate, like in the short run the interest rate movement in the market will have some impact on the return, but over a longer run, like over the maturity period of the fund, not the fund, rather it's on the average maturity of the instruments, the interest rate sensitivity becomes lower and the returns becomes more predictable. The return expectation is generally moderate and we can very well expect little higher return than the traditional instruments of the similar tenure. So this is a fantastic category, particularly most of the retail investment that happens into traditional investments, traditional instruments or the fixed return instruments are approximately for 2, 3, 4 years kind of a time. So this is a fantastic category which you can look at and expect a little higher return than the traditional instruments. Moreover, when we are investing for more than 3 years period of a time, that is you are investing now and you are withdrawing after 3 years, you are getting in debt funds the indexation benefit in capital gain tax. So we will have a detailed discussion on this calculation of indexation in our future videos. Now the another category of debt funds are called duration or dynamic bond kind of funds. There is in this particular category there is another kind of debt fund that comes are called gilt funds or basically the government securities fund. Now the word duration doesn't mean it is for very long duration. Here the duration means interest rate sensitivity, and the gilt funds invest into government securities kind of a fund. This sort of funds invest for very long period maturity kind of a papers like government securities or very long term debentures. The interest rate sensitivity for these funds are very high, because as the longer as these funds are for very long period, the instruments are for very long period, any interest rate movement in the market impacts these funds very significantly. When interest rate goes up, these funds are affected very negatively, and when interest rate goes down, these funds can give very high return over even short period of time. The return expectation from these funds can be high. But again, these are very tactical kind of calls that we need to take, and we need to be very, very careful about the right time of entry and exit into these funds. Unless and until you are having very high risk appetite and understanding of interest rate movement in the market, you should avoid this category of debt oriented funds. Let us move to the next category, which we call hybrid funds. Now, hybrid funds, as we have mentioned earlier as well, that in hybrid category we start mixing little amount of equity with debt. The first in this category comes the debt hybrid or the conservative hybrid funds. As we can see, conservative hybrid funds generally consist of 75% debt and 25% of equity, right? So this is the debt hybrid or conservative hybrid, but their income tax treatment is as per the debt. As I have mentioned earlier also, we will have a separate video for the understanding of taxation, and only on this particular category, which is the debt hybrid category, we will have a detailed video to understand the kind of return you can expect from this sort of fund. The next category of hybrid fund is balanced advantage funds. This is an emerging category, and this has particularly grown up in last 10 years. Here, the debt and equity allocation of the funds are managed dynamically. That means when the equity market is high, the debt components of the fund is generally higher, and when the equity market is low, then the equity component of the fund goes higher, which is the particular example of asset allocation. This kind of funds are also called asset allocation kind of funds. One very big advantage of this sort of funds are the taxation, income tax treatment for all these funds are equity oriented funds. Next is equity hybrid fund, where obviously the debt is on the lower side and equity is on the higher side. The debt is generally approximately 30-35% and the equity is always more than 65%. This sort of funds are little more riskier than balanced advantage or the debt hybrid funds, but in terms of return also they can give you more return. So if you are little afraid, or if you are little conservative in nature compared to getting into a direct equity oriented funds or pure equity oriented funds, you can look into this sort of category. Now let us go back to our previous chart where we had seen that differences of funds. Now here the last category of our discussion is the equity oriented funds. Now even in equity oriented funds, the first comes the large cap oriented funds, where the money is invested into blue chip kind of stocks. And then comes the multi-cap. Multi-cap means where it is mix of large cap, mid cap and small cap. Most of the multi-caps are generally concentrated at around large and mid cap. That's why I have kept it between the large and mid cap category. Then comes the mid cap, where is the mid size of companies. As per the current definition of mid cap funds, in terms of market capitalization, all the stocks which are coming from 101 to 250th rank in terms of market capitalization are considered to be mid cap. First 200 is considered to be large cap, and then below 250 is considered to be small cap. So any mutual fund which is investing predominantly into small cap space are considered to be small cap oriented equity mutual funds. And then the last category is called sectoral funds, when there is another sort of such fund is called thematic funds. So there is not much of a difference between a thematic fund and a sectoral fund. Sectoral funds are nothing but when they are investing into a particular sector, and thematic funds are similar, but here the word theme replaces the word sector. When a mutual fund is following any particular theme is called thematic fund. So basically these are very high in terms of risk, but if you are investing at the right time and exiting at the right time, you have very high probability of generating return as well. So this is approximately the way of segregating mutual fund in terms of risk and return metrics. But there are few very important points you should consider before getting into this kind of funds. You should study in detail. You have fact sheets from all the mutual fund houses, or there are so many other materials which are available on all these particular funds. So before getting into this category in terms of investment, please study these funds in detail. The most important part is your own asset allocation, right? Asset allocation means how much is the portion you want to keep in debt funds, how much is the portion you want to keep in equity funds, so on and so forth. Generally we focus too much on fund selection, but unless and until our asset allocation is correct, the fund, even if you are investing in the best of the funds, your overall investment goal will not be fulfilled. So asset allocation is single most important thing in our portfolio. Third point is consider both the R's. Here both the R's means it's risk and return. Generally we are extremist in terms of investment. At times we become very risk oriented. We become very much conservative and invest only into traditional instruments, and at times we become very aggressive and maybe if I may use the word greedy, and we run after return without considering the risk. So the right equilibrium between the risk and return is the actual mantra of creating a very good portfolio. Last but not the least is consult experts, right? As we go to different experts for their domain knowledge, like we go to physicians for medical related issues, we go to lawyers, we go to architects, and all sort of experts for their domain specific requirements. Similarly for investment also, it is always highly recommended that you go and consult the experts before creating your portfolio. As Mr. Charlie Munger has said that those who keep learning will keep rising, we'll request you to check out this video, how do I build my mutual fund portfolio. This is the second version of the current video that you are watching, so that you will have some idea about how to implement the learning from this video into your exact portfolio that you are building. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please like it, please give your comment in the comment section, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much.